What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the very first episode of HypeBX Boxing Radio. My name is Rudy, and what we're going to do today is basically give you the introduction to what is going to be a spectacular show, I believe. What we're doing is something that I don't think another boxing show is actually doing at the moment. We're actually putting a spotlight on women's boxing. I started liking women's boxing around 97, 98. I was around 9 or 10, and I was just intrigued by what are now Hall of Famers, Mia St. John, Christy Martin, Lucia Riker. Those women were just putting boxing on the map. And then you put in Layla Ali, and Layla Ali was just exploding the sport into another realm. Now, as far as what it's become within the past, say, 10, 15 years, it's a little bit different. Kind of been shunned by the promoters. The women aren't getting paid enough as they should, as they're dedicating as much time as the sport. They're putting enough heart into the sport as the men. But you're seeing the payout Money Mayweather's getting and someone like Ava Knight's getting. Ava Knight has to go all the way to Mexico to get a somewhat decent payday, but it's not exactly the best payday in the world. What I'm trying to do here on this boxing radio show is give them the encouragement, give them the spotlight, give them the recognition that they actually deserve. I'm friends with a lot of the female boxers in the community. Mia St. John, Ava Knight, Kalisha West. You run it down, I pretty much have been in contact with them, and I hope to get their support, and I hope to have them on the show. I know I got a few of them lined up for the next coming weeks, and we're actually going to focus on boxing, and also we're going to focus a little bit more on maybe MMA. I know we're going to focus on Muay Thai because Muay Thai is actually a growing sport as well. It's in the realm of MMA. So I know a few fighters in that aspect, but enough of that. What we're going to do tonight is we're actually going to have a special guest. She's a dear friend of mine. She's one of the best flyweight boxers in the world. She's the current IFBA title holder, and her name is Sindy Amador. If you don't know her, you should know her by now. She is 12-1, coming from Riverside, California. She has one knockout on her resume. I absolutely love her. She's down to earth. She's caring. She's doing anything she can to help out the boxing community inside and outside of the ring. She's got a new program that she's working out at her Capital Punishment Gym, and she's going to talk a little bit about that tonight. And we hope to have her on in a little bit. And as I said, what we're going to do is you guys can follow me on Twitter. My handle on Twitter is HypeBX87. And on Instagram, as you can see, if you're listening to me, you were following me on Instagram. I put up a bunch of posts today. Hopefully you guys didn't get annoyed of that. And I hope that you guys enjoy the show. We're going to bring a lot of guests on here. We're going to give you weekly updates on fights coming up on the weekends, on fight nights. I hope to get some interviews with the fighters before the fights and after the fights. And what we're going to do is we're going to just talk about the current state because right now we're having a few technical difficulties with Sindy. So right now I just want to talk about my experience that I had this past weekend in the Antelope Valley. I'm from the Antelope Valley in California, and we just had a big boxing show out here. It's called Rumble in the Desert. And we had a pro debuter, Paula Estrada. She is an acclaimed amateur boxer. She killed it. She was making her pro debut, but she was actually fighting a experienced fighter by the name of Blanca Raimundo. It went the distance, but she got the unanimous decision. But you could hear the outpouring of support from the fans coming inside of that building as they were chanting her name. And I love that. I love that people were behind her. I love that people were recognizing the sport. And after she won the fight, she was humble, down to earth, and she took pictures with pretty much everybody that night. She didn't turn anybody down. She was taking pictures with kids, adults, people who were working the event, and that's what I want to see more in the boxing community. I want to see a lot more love. I want to see a lot more support, because I see in the professional realm, in the amateurs, just a little bit of discouragement, and we need to show more support for other fighters going in and outside of the ring. We can't be discouraged because the promoters are discouraging it enough. So we got to uphold the sport and bring humanity, bring some love, some support. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's one of the reasons why women's boxing is in the state it is today, is because there just isn't enough support in and outside of the sport. And also tonight, what I wanted to do is I wanted to shout out 92.3 The Box. They're actually on the same website. They do these shows Sundays and Thursday nights at 7 p.m., and they actually are the reasons why I wanted to start this show. They were revolutioning the way that we want to do radio. They're bringing on their own guests, giving their own opinions, and just giving a different light of what boxing actually is. So I want to give a shout-out to those guys. I was listening to them for the past few weeks, and it's just one of the best shows I've actually listened to in a while as far as boxing podcasts or audio shows or radio shows. So I want to give them a shout-out, definitely. And I want to give a shout-out to just a few of the fighters that have actually given me support in doing this. Ava Knight, Kalisha West, definitely. I've known Kalisha since, God knows, I want to say like almost 10 years. I've actually known her, and she's grown into be an incredible woman. She's independent. She's a world champion, and she's going to do so much more in and out of boxing. So I got to give her a special shout-out. Mia St. John. Mia St. John is also a dear friend of mine, and she's one of the biggest influences on why I love the sport of boxing. When people ask me who are my favorite fighters of all time, I always say Julio Cesar Chavez and Mia St. John. Those two fighters just, I can't even explain into my own words how much I actually love those two fighters. So Mia St. John, much love and support. And like I said before, I don't know exactly the routine schedule we're going to go by with this show. Tonight was kind of just a flyby. I got in contact with Sindy, and tonight it seemed like it was going to be a good idea to do the show tonight. I'm sorry to all the East Coasters. I know it's a little late. It's around 1 a.m., 10 p.m. Pacific time, but thank you for listening if you're out there. I really do appreciate the support. We actually do have a call-in number if you guys want to call in. It is 646-668-2954. Once again, it's 646-668-2954. Would appreciate any of your calls. If you guys want to give some feedback, talk boxing, talk support, talk about what needs to be changed, give me a call. Sindy is we still have some technical difficulties with Sindy. In the meantime, let me talk about some upcoming fights that I know that are actually going to happen pretty soon. If you don't already go to her website, WBAN.com, Sue T.L. Fox is actually one of the best at getting the news for what women's boxing is up to date. She's always on her Facebook. She's always updating her website with updating fight records, updating with fight videos, profiles. She's one of the best at doing it. So what we're going to do is let me go and run down the lineup. We got Chevelle Hallback. She's going to be fighting Victoria Cisneros. Victoria Cisneros is actually one of the outshining stars that's coming out of New Mexico right now. She was supposed to fight Mia St. John, but not enough promoters were backing that fight. So in the meantime, she's going to actually fight Chevelle Hallback, which is a rematch, and that's supposed to be happening in August 22nd in Tampa, Florida. And I also want to let you guys know, August 1st, Naomi Bosquez is going to be fighting in Tampa, Florida. She is a flyweight with an amazing amateur background. She's going to be fighting, let me pull up the fighter in just a moment. but she is an amazing talent coming from Tampa, Florida. I happen to know her on a personal basis, and she's always been supportive of always women's boxing, supporting it. So she's just going up the ladder as any normal fighter would be, and she's dominating in every sport. She has one loss, but one loss makes you a better fighter, I believe. So I believe Naomi Vasquez is going to be a title contender pretty soon. I don't know when she'll get the title fight. It's been a while, but hopefully she gets the recognition that she deserves. And let me get a hold of Sindy at the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, Sindy Amador is going to be calling in just a moment. And also, all right. And in other women's boxing news, we just had a huge amateur boxing tournament with the finals being Marlene Esparza of Houston, Texas. I don't know if you guys known her. She was in a lot of the McDonald's and Olympic promotions. She was actually on the cup at one point for the Olympics in 2012, supporting the new sport of women's boxing entering the Olympics. She didn't finish with gold that year, but she finished with bronze, and right now she's trying to get back to Rio 2016. She faced Salim Urbina. She is from Mexico. She's an acclaimed amateur boxer from there. They fought in a decision, and Marlene Esparza actually got the decision. So congratulations to her. And we also have results coming in from Mexico. Sylvia Torres won by a fourth-round TKO over Joanna Medina. It was a scheduled 6-round fight, but it ended in the 4th round. And I don't know if you know this, but in Mexico, the fight game over there is just, there's so much supporting. So let me get Sindy on the line.
Yes?
Okay. So everybody, we have Sindy Amador on the line. Sindy, thank you once again for joining us tonight. I really appreciate everything that you've done for myself and for boxing to begin with. And I just want to say, ¿cómo estás? How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm happy to talk to you.
Me too, Sindy, me too. I'm sorry we had a little technical difficulties earlier, everybody, but I'm glad we got Sindy on the line tonight. Sindy, you're 12-1. You're the current IFBA Flyweight champion. What do people need to know about you from the get-go if I'm going to buy a ticket to a Sindy Amador fight?
Hello?
Hello? Sindy, can you hear me?
I can barely hear you.
Okay. Oh, Sindy, can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes. Yes?
Okay. Okay. Sorry for the technical difficulty. Okay. So, Sindy, I was just saying you're 12-1. You're the current IFBA Flyweight champion. Just a boxing fan going to a boxing show, and you're the main event. What can I expect from a Sindy Amador fight?
You guys can expect a very explosive fight. My fights are always like very explosive, aggressiveness, just a show, you know, everybody loves my fights.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, every time I go on YouTube or your Facebook or your Instagram, everybody just has so much love and support for you because you actually give 110% in and outside the ring, and you give the money's worth every time, I believe. So I thank you for that because there's a lot of fighters out here who are actually just, they don't give the heart and dedication that you do. So I want to thank you for doing that to begin with. And then also I want to go into a little bit before. You had, I believe it was just 4 amateur fights before you started turning professional?
I used to have 4 amateur fights. Only 4.
You only had 4. Now, what made you go into the professional aspect of boxing?
Well, my goal was always just to go straight as to professional because women's boxing is very tough, and I never got fights. I've been training for years, and I only had like 4 fights in about 4 years, like maybe a fight every year. So I was just, I always train hard. So I was okay. If I'm gonna train hard, I just better go pro, because I'm always training hard for nothing, and I finally found the right team, and they just trained me for 2 months, for about 2 months, and they just told me, you know what, we have to do this, and we have to do it now. So
exactly.
Yeah, I just went
that's the game plan.
For
that's
pro,
what
and
the game plan should be.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, about your team and your gym, how are they treating you? I mean, going into a training regimen, going into training camp, what's the preparation going into that?
They treat me like any other fighter, like any other boxer. They're very supportive, and we just go and train hard, as hard as we can. And especially for a fight, it's like very intense workout. Yeah, it's sparring, conditioning, like it's tough. Yeah, but I love it.
Yeah, absolutely, as you should. You know what got my attention is basically I knew you were on the scene. Kalisha West had actually mentioned your name, so I looked up your name, and I saw your first fight, and I was just so impressed. And so I just started following your career, and every fight you were just so impressive, going into somebody else's territory or fighting an experienced fighter, and you were blemishing records. You were handing their first losses. And I think in the beginning, your opponents were almost underestimating you, but you were actually you were showcasing what you were learning at the time. And I think over time you've grown as a fighter and as a person, but I think you still have the explosiveness. You're still bringing the experience of what you know now, and you're being just the world champion that you are. And also, what was funny is every fight you were getting cut or you were getting a bruise, and it was showing you were fearless in the way. You were just going in there, putting your heart out, and you were giving it 100%. And I gotta amend that, because a lot of girls out here, they go into professional boxing, but they don't expect the wars that you've been in. You've been in so many wars, so just the experience factor. I think you have a lot of you have the edge on that on a lot of fighters. And it's funny, because do you still think that fighters underestimate you going into fights?
Yes, I always feel like the underdog because, I'm so little and then I'm so sweet, but everything changed when in the ring. Once I step in the ring, everything changed. I'm used to it, Yeah.
Yeah, because you come off as such a pretty woman, just going in there, and I could see just the other girls just being like, well, who is this girl coming in here just all with her hair done and her makeup just looking so nice, and you go in there and you just pack the punch and you deliver and you say you're going to win the fight and you are going to win the fight. Now I want to go back to October of 2013 when you fought Amers Quintana and you fought for the IFBA title. What was that feeling like when you won that world championship finally?
Oh my God, that was the best thing that's happened to me. That was my dream, I was like super happy. It's like a dream. And, every fight I have is special. Every win is just amazing. But that fight, it was like extremely special. I never been so happy in my life. You could see it on your face that you were just so. It was your goal in the beginning to win a world championship, and you fulfilled it, and now it's on to another chapter of your boxing career. And honestly, I can't wait. I know that your friends and family can't wait, and the rest of the fans listening and on Instagram, on Facebook, we can't wait to see your next fight. Before we get into that,
before we get into your next fight or what your plans are, let's talk about your boot camp and what you're doing at Capital Punishment Gym, and just explain a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I'm doing, well, the boot camp is only the weekends, Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m., but I train people through the week. I train people in the morning, and I have my class every day at 7:30 p.m.
Okay. And is there a phone number or an email we can get in contact with you if we want to join the class?
Yes, well, I have my fan page, my face, Sindy Amador, and I have my Instagram, Alacana Amador, and my phone number is 951-534-9456.
Perfect. Thank you, Sindy, for letting us know the information on that. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who look at you and they say, man, I want that body. I want to go out on the beach and I want to have that body. And it's a good way to let people know, like, boxing will get you in shape. Boxing will definitely lead you to a healthier lifestyle. I think that's the reason you started boxing, if I'm correct.
Well, yeah, I was like 150 pounds when I started boxing, and I went down to 101. And that was amazing, because I was doing what I love to do, and my body was like transformed, I'm stronger, healthier, and I have the body that I always wanted, I never thought I was going to go down like that much, I keep in 108, 112, 115, depends, I don't want to go like super like skinny.
Yeah.
Because I don't look good.